Okay, so for day 4, I did glutes and hamstrings. So the last workout of this week. Okay, so like I said, I'm doing glutes and hamstrings again, but I'm just doing slightly different movements. So for all of these, I'm once again doing 3 sets of 10 to 12, just however many I can do. And then like the other days, I'm also increasing the weight of each set. So I started with hip thrusts again, focusing on strong glute contraction. So this is obviously like the main glute focused movement, and I'm really paying attention to both my form and how I'm activating the muscle. So I set up with my upper back against the bench, and then my feet are flat on the ground, about shoulder width apart. I'm keeping my knees bent at a 90-degree angle at the top of the movement. From there, I start at the bottom with my hips lowered, and then I drive my hips straight up, pushing through my heels. So at the top, I'm really focusing on fully extending my hips and squeezing my glutes as hard as I can for a second before lowering back down. Then I move into Romanian deadlifts. So here I'm just hinging at the hips, lowering the weight slowly to stretch my hamstrings and pulling back up. And I'm just using like dumbbells for this one. Okay, so after that, I did Bulgarian split squats. This is just to focus on strength and balance since one leg is elevated. Here I set up by putting one foot behind me on the bench, and I'm just keeping my front foot planted on the ground. From there, I stay upright and lower myself straight down by bending my front knee. So here I'm just focusing on keeping my chest up and my core tight, and making sure that my front knee like stays above, like it tracks over my toes instead of caving in. So as I go down, I'm trying to get a good range of motion, so my front thigh is about parallel to the ground. Then I'm pushing back up through my front heel, really focusing on using my glutes and quads and not my back leg. So my back leg is really just there for balance and like support. It's not there to like push me up. I'm also controlling the movement on the way down instead of dropping. So I keep the tension in the muscle the whole time, once again, so controlled. And for that, I'm also using dumbbells on both sides and holding dumbbells on both sides. Next, I did sumo squats. So this is just like a normal squat, except you're using a wider stance, and I'm doing that to target my inner thighs and glutes more. So for sumo squats, this is, like I said, just like a variation of a regular squat, but with a wider stance, which shifts more of the focus onto my inner thighs and glutes, like I said earlier. So here I set up with my feet wider than shoulder width apart and my toes slightly pointed out. So from there, I'm just trying to keep my chest up and core tight, like for most of these exercises, and I'm lowering myself straight down. As I go down, I'm focusing on pushing my knees out so that they track over my toes and not letting them cave inward. I'm also trying to sit my hips down and back to really engage my glutes. So once I get to the bottom, I push back up through my heels, squeezing my glutes at the top. Here I'm controlling the movement the whole time, especially on the way down, so I can once again keep that constant tension. And I'm also using a dumbbell for this one too. I just have the dumbbell in between both hands, and I just drop it when I go down. Okay, so finally I finished off with hyperextension. So here I'm focusing on my glutes and my lower back. So for hyperextensions, this is just one of the main finishing movements for glutes and hamstrings, and it's also hitting my lower back, like I said. So for this one, I set up on the hyperextension bench with my hips supported on the pad and my feet locked in. So from there, I'm starting with my upper body lowered down, keeping my back neutral. I'm trying to keep my back neutral, but maybe like at the top, it could be slightly rounded just to focus a little more on the glutes. So then I'm raising my torso back up by driving through my hips, not just lifting with my lower back. I'm really focusing on squeezing my glutes at the top. So at the top, I don't overextend or arch too much. I don't like move up too much or like lean all the way back. I just come up until my body's in a straight line, and then I slowly lower back down under control. So a big focus that I'm really trying to work on is controlling the movement and not using the momentum like for all of the workouts. I want constant tension on my glutes and hamstrings the whole entire time. Okay, so this day connects back to the motor unit recruitment and fatigue that we learned about. As I go through the workout and start getting tired, my body has to recruit more motor units to keep producing force. So, also, reflexes come into play here because, for example, reciprocal inhibition allows one muscle to contract while the opposite muscle relaxes, which helps movement stay smooth. So when I'm extending my hips, my hamstrings and glutes are working while opposing muscles relax. Overall, the day really shows how my body, and just the body in general, adapts under fatigue and continues to recruit muscles efficiently to keep me moving.